Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me today. Today I thought I would do a full face of Huda because I've been going through all my Huda stuff and realised that I got enough that I could do a full face of Huda. So I thought, why not? So let's get going with this look, shall we? So first on in, I am going to use a Huda primer, which is called the Complexion Perfection Pre-Makeup Base. And I'll put this on. These are all quite heavily perfumed, and they remind me of, the smell always reminds me of a particular perfume by Givenchy that I used to own in the 90s called Amarige. It smells exactly the same as that perfume. So if you know what Amarige smells like, that's what all this, it is very heavily scented. So if you're not into primers and foundation that is heavily scented, do not get Huda. It's not for you. Okay, so I've got hair stuck to my face now. Right. Okay, so I'm going to use her foundation, which is Faux Filter. Now I've got shade Butter Pecan, which is 330 neutral, and I think I probably needed something a little bit darker, but it'll do because I'm going to use some bronzer anyway soon. So let's do that. Now the Faux Filter foundation is very high coverage. I do have Huda's brush that goes with this foundation, but it's in desperate need of a clean. So I won't be using that today, but I will use a mixture of a beauty blender and my very thick kind of full coverage foundation brush. So I'm just going to dot some of this. It really is high coverage, this foundation, but it is lovely. Let's try first of all with a beauty blender. Just going to spray my beauty blender with a bit of face spray. Make it a bit damp. And then I'll buff it in with the foundation brush in a minute. Right, I'm just going to tap a little bit more around the cheek area. I think I'll just continue with the beauty blender actually. Huda's brush is very good for applying this. Right, next on in, I'm going to get her Overachiever Concealer, which I haven't got out. I forgot to get that, so I'll just go and get that and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm going to have to call it a nearly full face of Huda Beauty because I cannot for the life of me find my Overachiever Concealer. So instead, I'm going to use this Estée Lauder Hydra Prep 24-hour concealer. And it's in 3 neutral, and you basically put this on first to brighten under your eyes and to hydrate, which is good because this foundation, as you can see, can be a little bit drying. It's quite mattifying. So I'll put that on and I'll just dot that on with my fingers. So this is kind of a brightening serum. And then the other side is the concealer. And I'll just use the beauty blender to blend that out. Okay, and then I'm going to, before I set this with Huda's powder, which I also haven't got out, I am going to put some Tantour on, which is basically a mixture of tanner or contour and bronzer. And this is what it comes in. Okay, I'm just going to get a contour brush. Okay, this is Huda's Sculpt and Shade brush. So you use this end to kind of sculpt like that. They're quite dark, these Tantours, which is why I didn't mind that the foundation's a little bit on the pale side. And then I'm going to blend that out with the other side. Okay, so the reason they call this Tantour is you can also use it as a bronzer. So you pick some up with the other side and you notice why I'm doing this before I put my powder on, because it is quite intimidating as a bronzer. I tell you what I've really noticed, having just moved to this from Charlotte's. That went on a lot. is her foundation really sets down. So with Charlotte's, you got a lot more time to blend products. Look at that. And with this, it really dries, so that when you're actually putting stuff on top, it takes a lot of blending, and that has really, I've just got to be patient. It will blend away. It will blend eventually, and I'm putting powder over the top. So with Charlotte's, because it stays quite tacky, you can blend stuff over the top quite easily. But with this, it actually dries down. So I'm not going to take any more on that brush, and just use that to kind of go over there. See, little bit of patience and it finally blends in, but it takes a bit of getting used to. Right, I'm just going to get her powder. Hopefully I'll find that. I thought I had everything out, but I haven't. Okay, now I'm going to use her setting powder in Banana Bread, and it's supposed to be good for baking, but her foundation is quite drying and quite matte, so I'm not going to be, certainly won't be baking under my eyes. But what I will do is I'll bake a little bit under my contour. Let me just tip some in the lid and I'll be right back. That's better. I've just tipped some in the lid. That's what I wanted to do. Wasn't gonna let me do it before. So a little bit under my contour. But I'm not baking the rest. And then I will get a fluffy brush to put the rest of the powder on. Okay, now this is looking a little bit flat because her foundation is matte, and obviously I've now put powder over the top. So it doesn't look as glowy as you would be used to seeing me in Charlotte Tilbury. But what I'm going to do, certainly before I put the resting boss face on, is I am going to spray everything, all the powders, so that with some of my Tolerian, which will basically merge it all together and take a bit of the mattifyingness off, if that's a word. I'm just going to sort this powder out, because if I put the lid back on, I'm going to end up covered in powder, and I'll be right back. Okay, today I'm going to use the new Nude palette. I nearly ended up buying this again. I'd forgotten that I got it because I bought it just before I moved. So this is the new Nude palette here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use one of these melted shadows underneath that I like, as to kind of help it to stick on. So let's get going with this eyeshadow look, shall we? So first on in, I'm going to use, so this is Private Jet and Shimmering Sunset, because I think this will go really well with this palette. And I'm just going to use my fingers. These are lovely on their own, but they're even nicer as a base. Especially if you've got hooded lids, because they just really help to set your eyeshadow. Got a little bit more on that side, so let me just add a bit more this side. A couple of dots underneath. And then the metallic side on the lid. Now notice again, what I did is deliberately look up to give me a template. Right, and now I'm going to take the new Nude palette. Okay, so first on in, I'm going to go in with this shade called Tickle, which is a nice sort of pink. And we'll set down that liquid beautifully. It's a very similar shade. And a bit underneath with the smudge brush. Okay, I want to darken up the corners, so I'm going to go in with this shade called Tease, and I'm going to take it in a sort of V shape, but still with a blending brush. Okay, so I really want to build up at the side. So I'm going to go in with this browner shade called Raw, and I'm going to take that in with my smudger brush this time. And I just want to now place it and smudge it in at the side. This is a quite dry formula, so you can actually blend it quite well with the smudge brush. It doesn't tend to get stuck. Now I'm going to take a mixture of those two darker shades and take that underneath, halfway along. Okay, and then right in the corner, to further intensify, I'm going to take Love Bite, which is this purple shade. But literally just popping it in that corner bit. And some of that underneath. Okay, there's a lovely colour here called Lace, which I'm going to take with the smudge brush and just take it along the inner part. It's not shimmery, but it's a nice light colour, so it'll open up the eyes, but it without accentuating any fine lines I've got under there. I love lilac. Right, and then I'm going to take, I need a highlighter shade, a shimmery highlighter shade. It's the only thing that this palette's missing. They're all mattes until you get to these very very shimmery. There's nothing in between. So I'm just going to take Bare, which is this the lightest matte shade, and put that at the top. And then I'm going to take, I'm just going to pick which one I'm going to use. Okay, I'm then going to take Fantasy, which is this one here, with my finger. And I'm just going to press that over that cream shadow. And I'm going to put some of the lighter one. Let's try this one, called Daydream, in the middle. Now she has some glitters in here, but I'm not going to use them. Okay, and then I'm going to take that lighter one, Daydream, and just pop some of that in here. Okay, I don't have a Huda liner, but I'm just going to use my La Roche-Posay black liner, and I'll be right back, and I'll do my brows as well, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm not doing very well today because I had a sample of Huda's new mascara and I cannot find it anywhere, and I think I probably threw it out because it comes in one of these little, it's kind of a little foil packet and it looks like rubbish, so I think I've probably thrown it out. Now what I wanted to do is just add a little sparkle back on of this that I put underneath, just in the middle. So it went underneath and it's going over the top as well, just to give it a bit more of a shimmer. Okay, so that's the eyes done. I used Fenty actually in the end, Fenty black eyeliner, and I used Fenty rose gold in the waterline. And now I'm going to choose a lipstick. Okay, I've got a little set called, a little set of mini mattes, and this one is called Icon. And I'm going to put this on. I might just use a bit of this Muse liner first to line my lips. And then Icon. And then over the top, I'm going to choose a lip strobe. Okay, and I'm going to use this lip strobe called Saucey. I was swatching this for my sister this morning and it's made me want to try it. Yep, I'm liking that. And then it's to the cheek products. Okay, I've got two highlighter palettes from Huda. I'm just going to show you. One is called Bronze Sands, which is this one, which is very pretty. And the other one is called Golden Sands, which I think will go better with this look. So I'll just show you that one. So this is Golden Sands, and it has a cream here, which you put on first as a kind of primer. So the idea is you sort of place that all over the where you would put the highlighter and the blush. Sort of dab it on with your fingers. You can actually use this on its own, of course, which would look just as nice. Okay, and then I'm just going to get some brushes and we'll put some blush and highlighter on. The reason I hesitated is because I'm wondering whether to even go for this bronze as well, but we'll see when we get going. Why not? Why not? So I'm going to put some of this Tahiti on, which is quite shimmery as a bronzer. Just give me a bit of a sun-kissed glow. And then the blush, which is called Zanzibar. Now, I try not to get this close to this area here because that's where I've got open pores. And it's beautiful, but it can accentuate because it's got quite a bit of gold fleck in it. It can accentuate any open pores. So I'm just careful to take it up there and stop when it gets to about there. I love these face palettes. I always want to go over the top because I love the colours so much. And then with a highlighter brush, I'm going to take Seychelles, which is this. So pretty. I'm going to use this highlighter in here as well. And I'm going to put this under here because I didn't like that highlighter in the palette. I wanted a bit more of a shimmery highlight under my brow. I'll dot a bit of that in the middle as well. And I'm going to put some here. Okay, definitely want more of that bronzer. Just want to glow. All right, now I'm going to spray my face with this now because it will take some of the flatness of that foundation, and then I will, once that's dried down, I'm going to show you Huda's Boss Face, which is her setting spray, which will set your makeup all day. Okay, I'll just spray this first. And I'm being quite generous with this because otherwise it does tend to look a bit too flat and matte. I'll let this dry down and I'll be right back. Okay, and last up in, I'm going to use Resting Boss Face. Now, this says, after applying makeup, hold 8 inches away and mist face 2 to 4 times in a circular motion. Keep eyes and mouth closed. Avoid applying directly on eyes and lips. Huda's trick, dampen beauty sponge with the formula and press it into face to seal in makeup for the day. I'll do a bit of both. This is crazy. It is really crazy. It looks like it maybe has leaked a bit. I hope I can. Anyway, let's spray it. It does smell quite strong. And it smells just like her foundation. It smells like I've sprayed myself with Amarige. Very, very, feels quite like it's stuck your makeup on. It really will help to keep your makeup on. I've never actually tried dampening a sponge. Let me just try. Let's just put some on my nose and around here, because that's where my makeup tends to come off. Okay, I was actually going to dab some under my eyes, but I'm not going to do that because it does smell quite perfumed and I think it might be a bad idea. But that is the finished look, and as you can see now, I've got a nice glow, and it's taken, I think I like to spray Huda's foundation afterwards to help it melt into the skin because it is quite drying, and this just gives it a lovely, it says an ultra matte finish, which is why I like to spray before and let that dry down to give me some glow back. But I hope you've enjoyed this video today. I had intended it to be completely Huda with Huda mascara and Huda concealer, but there you go, I can't find everything. I hope you've enjoyed this and I'll see you all very soon. Have a lovely day. Take care. Bye-bye. Mwah. Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to do a very quick aside to thank Sunchyme and to give Sunchyme a big shout out because Sunchyme sent me a Pat McGrath Divine Rose 2 palette and I'm so delighted. I couldn't work out why Rebecca was trying to put me off getting one myself in the sale. Now I realise. So thank you so much. And just to let you know that I'm going to be using it on my live tomorrow. So tune into my live tomorrow and we'll do it then. All right, but thank you so much, Emma. That's so sweet of you. And if you would like the Huda Coral Obsessions palette, do let me know because it's yours. One good turn deserves another. Thanks. See you soon.